I'm just going to throw up some slides just so we have a little bit of agenda, just kind of and give you an idea how we are going to go through things today. I just have a few little exercises that I set up so that you can see the functionality of the room and how teachers might be able to teach in the fall. This is Dodge 50, the basement of Dodge. And I kind of went over this overview. And this is what the back camera in the back of the room looks like. On the previous slide, these are the two cameras in the front of the room. And these are the pendant mics that actually pick up the audio. And they actually turn red when the audio is not picking up, and then they turn green when the audio is picking up. So in this picture, they were off. And this is what the lectern looks like in the room. That's a crestron display, I should say. And then the crestron panel, which controls all the AV in the room. And that's what we'll be using to create the experience for those home users. So the first thing I want to do is kind of demonstrate how Autoswitch works. So we're going to go around the room and have the ATAP scholars introduce themselves, and we can see how the camera focuses on the individual. So go ahead, and we're going to start over here and just kind of go around the room. So if you'd start.
Hi, my name is Asmail Memarzadeh, and I'm a third year PhD student in civil engineering.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
So hi everyone, my name is Akash. I'm working as a data operation support at ATS. I'm pursuing my master's at Information Systems program, and it's good to be here and to be a part of this program. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kirti Murugan. I'm a graduate student. I study information systems, and I'm a graduate student staff at ATS.
So yeah, my name is Anadil. I am a PhD student in the mathematics department and currently working with the ATAP.
Thank you so much. And right out.
Hi, I'm Cyril. I hope you can see and hear me well. I'm also in the mathematics department, PhD student. Glad to working with you.
So I did a little bit of prep work, and I'm going to move into a whiteboard. So right now I'm using the crestron that is native to every NUflex room. And so I'm just going to do a little statistics example. I just wanted to get everyone a feel of how maybe writing out formulas looks like, or how it feels on the far end. So we're just going to do a quick statistical problem. Starbucks is determined. Well, actually, can someone in the room doing this? We'll just to show that everything is visible. Can everybody just, all right there.
Starbucks has determined that its customers spend an average of $500 per month with a standard deviation of $80. Assume the amounts of charges are normally distributed.
All right.
Question A, what percentage of customers spend more than $380 per month?
All right, perfect. So first thing we know, it's a normally distributed, so it's a normally distributed bell curve. All right. And the other givens in the problem is that the average mu is 500, and we have a standard deviation of 80. So I apologize for my handwriting, it's really awful, but that's what it would look like. Actually, the screen is very responsive, and I can write quickly, and it works really well.
So there is a question on the chat. Is the whiteboard space also recorded as part of the meeting?
Yes, so you beat me to the punch. This is great. So what I can do here, if you guys notice right here, there's a save button, right? So not only is it recorded, I can actually save it, and it saves locally to my computer, and I can make all the whiteboarding available to my students afterwards, too. And if I wanted to, this has collaboration abilities. I can actually have students join in and collaborate here. We won't do it for purposes today, just in the interest of time. But I did want to show how easy it is to whiteboard in the room. And I'm super happy with the responsiveness of this screen.
So yeah, once you pin the video, the cameras, like, even though they move, they don't record me, or do they?
It's recording you.
They're still recording you, because some of the faculty members had this concern that if they're discussing sensitive issues, some of the students might not wish to be recorded.
All right, so that's a great thing. And this is one of the first things Lindsay asked me to make sure was part of the UI, is that on the UI of the crestron, is that there is a camera privacy button, and I can just tap that. And so that kills the cameras. And there's also an audio feature that will kill the cameras on that side.
Where is the camera privacy button?
It is part of this UI right here.
I see,
on
I see,
top
I
of
see,
the-
I see.
So when it comes back, it actually turns, because I turned the cameras off, it turns auto switching off. And this is just an overview of the classroom. These are one of the layouts that we can provide. So if you're teaching remote, you might imagine using this layout just to see what's going on in the classroom, making sure your projector's working, who's sitting in the classroom, just kind of a general overview. I'm going to go ahead and back and turn auto switch on. And make sure I am staying on task. So one thing I did want to share too is that there is a Solstice in the room. So there is bring your own device scenario where you want to integrate your own devices into the Zoom call. So there is an HDMI connection right here, which goes into the Solstice device, which is a collaboration tool, which actually joins directly to the Zoom call. I just wanted to feature a Surface Go. I might bring a Surface Go to class to present on the Surface Go, and maybe annotate, or maybe whiteboard as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the Solstice lets you show multiple things at once. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of my presentation from before, and I'm going to go ahead and just use the Surface Go. What's nice about the Surface Go is it gives the professor the ability to walk around the room. And I could go through the whole presentation, but I really wanted to just highlight how I can go and I can walk around the room, but I can also annotate the presentation, and it's visible to everyone over there. And that's as easy as that. So just as easy as we were annotating before, I can quickly annotate any slide that I'm on, and I can provide these to students after class as well. Any questions about using the Surface Go in class?
There is a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a question on the chat. Can you queue up multiple presentations on the immersive device?
That is an excellent question. Yes, so that is awesome. You can queue up just about as many presentations as you can imagine on the immersive device. So if I show here, so if you guys can see my desktop, I'll bring up the immersive device here, or how you actually manage it. So you have this manager as the professor, and you can actually bring content off and on in this little area. And what this does is allows you to queue things up. So anyone in the class right now, I'm going to stop sharing. So this is what this looks like when you're not using it actively. So if you notice up in the right-hand corner, there's an IP address. So anyone can open up a browser, anyone in class. And this is great for social distancing, because you might not want to come up to the front of the class, or you want to kind of sit where you are because you've already been kind of measured out for social distancing. Anyone can send their presentation to this IP address, and then they can stand and deliver from the spot in class. So what I was going to do next, just to stay on task, is I was going to, in the interest of time, was to have a quick debate just to show you how the cameras work, kind of similar to what we did in the beginning. But I was just going to do somebody on the Dunkin' Donuts side and someone on the Starbucks side, having a quick back and forth. So I'm going to try what's called the split lecture and audience view. So this is a conversation that once it picks up in the audience, it will, yeah, Pete's coffee, Claire, that's true too. But once it picks up a student in the audience, it does a split view, which is really cool, which gives a kind of a dynamic quality of a conversation go on. So
So in comparison to Dunkin's, I would say they have a more professional approach. They care about the set and the setting. We have 3 Dunkin's in the Northeastern and 1 Starbucks. And there is always a very long line outside Starbucks. And there are always there are people that go to Dunkin's, but it's disproportionate the number of people that you find in Starbucks. And that says something about Starbucks.
My rebuttal for Dunkin' Donuts is that there is no longer a Starbucks on campus. Only Dunkin' Donuts, as we found out today, much to my dismay. But
Oh. What happened to the Starbucks?
I know, it's not there anymore. We went to get it today. I'm not going to give up my side of the argument, but all I have to say is New England runs on Dunkin', and that's my argument.
So Jesse, I had a question just from the instructor perspective. Like I see that Sean is in the classroom, but also has his device with his camera.
Yes.
Right. So as an instructor, what would you recommend that if you're in the classroom that you don't log in to the digital course? Right. So just for student management, right?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and that's actually where we're going next. So there's something I wanted to do real quick. To answer your question, this will be the scenario that we're recommending for collaboration. So the next piece we're going to get in is into breakout rooms, and the scenario might be that somebody in your breakout room is going to be remote and you're going to be in class. So that is, to make it a completely inclusive experience, we need to make sure that people have the ability to do that. So students can also monitor chat. If you notice in class, I haven't been monitoring chat, but people have been telling me when someone has a question. So that is a good way for everyone to pay attention to people that are here, but also remote. So it's a nice way to manage the classroom. Right now, if I go to, I'm gonna just jump over. This is like a home view, but this is a zoomed up lecture view. I just want to show you how good the video is to be able to see the writing. But you can see how good and how visible this is, right? So
Yeah, it looks awesome.
we can whiteboard, but we can utilize the room for classing teaching.